Hi there, my name is Cupicate, and welcome back to WolfQuest Forged in Tragedy, starring Mikael and his mate, Kirby. So after finishing off the elk at the top of the hill, Mikael has come back down to feed his pups who have been freshly named. No! I just named you, child. Oh, it's fine. So first out, we have Potato, which was suggested by Adventures with Critters. I couldn't resist. I love potatoes, guys. But we will be calling Potato Tate for short occasionally, which was suggested by Kelsey. We also have Rava, which was suggested by EcoLeaf Legends. We have a Redwood that was suggested by Spooky Cats. We have Bramble that was suggested by Night. Birch, if I didn't mention already, was suggested by Breadcrumb. And Heather was suggested by Kelsey. I thought Heather was such a beautiful name. Ooh, there's Howling nearby. That's a little concerning. And knowing that Birch is sick is kind of setting me in a weird position. I wanted to go and spread our territory a little bit because we really need to, but with Birch falling ill, I don't want to take him into another wolf's territory. It's always a struggle when pups fall ill right in the beginning, mainly because you're kind of set up with your territory a little bit. We're not hungry, so we don't necessarily need to hunt, but even if we did need to hunt, it's not like we could take Birch with us. And we don't really have a flea problem, so there's no reason to move. Well, let's go ahead before we do anything and roll for today's difficulty. So this is a little different from the Goddess's Blessing, as I mentioned in the previous episode. This is to determine how much of Mikael's grief affects his ability to hunt, to take care of his family. So if he has an easy day, that means that his grief is not affecting him as bad. Challenging means it's somewhere in between, and accurate means his grief is affecting him quite badly, causing things to be much harder. Oh, Kirby, always trying to make Mikael feel better. So I did roll a 3. 3s and 4s are accurate, so there's always a higher chance that we will be playing on accurate. So Mikael's grief is getting to him today, probably because Birch is sick and it's making him nervous. So I think for now, what Mikael will do is he will go into the den and he may actually sleep. And that way he has plenty of energy in the morning, and perhaps any places in our territory that have been weakened, he can take Birch with him. If he would even know to do that. Mikael hasn't really done that before. So let's see. Oh, Mikael seems to be having horrible dreams about fire. He's very upset. Now his leg is feeling much better, but it looks like Birch is quite sick. So he's going to leave the den. Birch is quick to follow. Luckily, the pups were fully fed, so we are still following our flaw. He's going to feed them some more, and then I think he will go ahead and risk taking Birch with him to do some territory strengthening or even taking some hexes. The scent of elk is on the wind. So Mikael might actually take this opportunity to hunt with Kirby first and then take Birch with him. Now, like I said, Mikael doesn't really have the same experience that perhaps Teo and Charm have had with taking pups with him, and I'm not sure Kirby would either. But I would like to say that the reason Mikael has the feeling that that's the right thing to do is he's like almost hearing whispers on the wind. Take him with you. And that Aspen is giving him hints on how to protect his children. And so for story purposes, I love the idea that Aspen is desperately trying to help out his siblings, even though he can't be there in life. He's going to try to be there for them in death. We've come across the elk herd, and fortunately we are very close to Crevice Lake territory. And Crevice Lake may be nearby. Whew, so we're gonna have to be kind of careful. Oh, I think I just heard them howling as well. Oh dear. That was a very close call. Fortunately, we did not end up in Crevice Lake's territory. Thank goodness. That would have been a battle that I did not want to fight. And Mikael doesn't want to fight it either. I think he would rather go the peaceful route and just sneak in and take territory, even though it's not as courageous and noble as it might seem to go and battle for your land. He would rather do it and spare other wolves' lives. They can always move to other parts if they have to, but they can do it alive. Looks like Mikael just chased out the first female, the breeding pair of Crevice Lake. That must have felt really, really good for him. He's headed back to the den now to try and spend some time with Birch before he gets too tired to truly be there for his son. And we're back with the pups. Mikael can really see that Birch is not feeling well. He came out and immediately laid down. He's very concerned, hoping the siblings will be kind and let Birch eat first. And it looks like they are. Potato. Look at you being a potato. I think Potato may actually be our biggest pup. Yep. So Potato's our biggest pup at 6.2 pounds. Redwood is 5.8. Rava is 6 pounds. Birch is 5.6, and he's at 57%. That's quite frightening. Heather's at 5.6, and Bramble is at 5.7. So they're all eating right now. Looks like they're doing quite well on hunger, all of them over 90%. That's quite easy. I'm hoping that Kirby will stay here, but Mikael is going to take Birch out, and they are going to strengthen territory all the way down towards where Mikael remembers Aspen's first den. After a little bit of coaxing, Kirby did go back to the den reluctantly. I think she might have been a little jealous that Mikael was taking Birch out and not her. But Kirby is also still pretty young, and she probably doesn't understand what Mikael is doing. I'm not sure Mikael understands what he's doing right now. In his mind, he probably thinks this is really dangerous for my pup, but I want to spend time with them, and we're going to go strengthen territory together. Well, they were only able to strengthen a couple hexes, and unfortunately, Mikael's wakefulness is already down to 9%, which means he's going to have a harder time carrying Birch, especially since stamina isn't really his sole stat. Also, at 0% wakefulness, you don't affect a pup's sickness at all. It essentially does nothing. So you can't stay awake anymore in hopes that the pup will get better. You have to sleep, which of course means they could not make it. So Mikael's doing what he can, but survival is survival, and sometimes pups succumb to sickness. It looks like Birch just passed out right in front of Mikael, and so he's going to lay right next to his son in hopes that his warmth makes him better. But we haven't really had the time to spend with Birch, and Birch's health has been going down pretty steadily, which is not a good sign. And now Birch is down to 25%. This is not looking good for Mikael. He's never lost a pup before, and he's watching his son dwindle away. He's scared. Kirby noticed that Birch hadn't really eaten yet, and she gave him some food, so even she knows something's wrong. And she may not be the most attentive mother, but she's not going to deprive her son of food. She's still got the instincts of a good mother, even though she doesn't have the closeness of a good mother. Leaving Kirby at the den, Mikael is going to take Birch to the elk cow carcass that they took down the other day. He's thinking this pup is far too young to eat meat, but perhaps seeing it and smelling the blood might bring him back. And so Mikael is on his way and hopes that this trick might work. We've made it to the carcass. It looks like quite a few beasts have gotten to it since Kirby and Mikael didn't actually eat that much of it. Birch is not interested at all, but is trying to stay close by. And still trying to go home. Mikael's eating what he can. It's good to see that Birch isn't quite leaving just yet. He's hoping Birch might eat, but Birch has much higher interest in going back home. This is not looking good for him. He's already down to 17% health. This is one of the fastest occasions that I have seen a pup decline, and usually when they decline quickly like that, it means that the chance of them making it is much, much lower. So my personal hopes are not very high for Birch. Unfortunately, he does have a lighter coat, and with his health diminishing so quickly, it's gonna take nothing short of a miracle for Birch to come back from this. Oh my gosh, Birch just healed while in Mikael's mouth. What a blessing. I really didn't think he was going to survive. Like, just being full serious here, I thought for sure Birch was gone. And I'm going to say that that was Aspen's doing. 100% that was Aspen's doing. Oh my goodness. Birch, I'm so glad you're all right. I'm going to plop this pup down. How is everybody doing on hunger? Are we all over 90%? Yes. And now we're going to pass out. Good night, everyone. Mikael is also feeling much better. His jaw isn't quite as crooked anymore. He's going to tell the pups to stay put. And he is going to go and try and see Aspen's first den today. But it's quite a bit in Junction Butte territory, so he's got his work cut out for him. He will probably leave Kirby here unless she comes with him, and it looks like she will. Maybe she's coming to comfort Mikael. Well, Mikael wasn't able to make it down because of the storm. It seems like the pup's affinity was just dropping quicker and quicker, so instead he's going to take this time to hunt this deer with Kirby and then go back to his pups to make sure they aren't sleeping too long without being full. He can always go and continue his territorial push down to get to Aspen's old den. And we're back with the pups, and Potato is first to greet us. I think Potato is a very hungry puppy. Birch is looking good. He's kind of hanging towards the back. It's entirely possible that the other pups saw him sick, and so they might have picked on him or distanced him from the rest of them, so it might take a minute for Birch to come back into the fold, but he's already back up to 52%. Meanwhile, Mikael is exhausted. He's feeding his pups, but he's very tired. The second that they are all fed, he is going to pass out. Oh dear, looks like there are coyotes somewhere. All the pups are in the den except Redwood. Oh goodness. Mikael is very tempted to go kill it. Now that the danger is over, he will call his pups out. Looks like Kirby is going to feed them, thank goodness. Hello, Potato. Here's some food. Potato's always hungry. Aww. Even Kirby's trying to get affinity up right now with the pups. Oh, they're so happy. Happy family pictures. This is good. We needed to work on affinity quite a bit. It had gotten really low, and Mikael would like to go out and hunt again because he is worried about feeding his family. And it smells like only one carcass remains, so it'd be safe to go on a hunt. But he is worried about territory as well. He hasn't been able to work on it as much as he would like, mainly because he was so worried about Birch. But now with Birch healthy and the rest of the pups full, he's thinking it should be safe. And now for another hunt. These two have come across an elk herd right at the edge of Crevice Lake again. Crevice Lake does have some of the best hunting grounds, but we are pushing them into a different direction. Okay, so this elk is not very weak. We need to find a weaker elk. That was a little more difficult to actually find a weak elk, but we did take her down once we finally found her, and she wasn't even that weak. That was just a very strong herd in general, and they were falling left and right, but I couldn't keep up with who was falling. Those might have been some better elk as well, but at least we have this one. So now Mikael is going to send Kirby home because for some reason affinity plummets when we both leave. It seems like our pups are very attached to their parents. And she did get full, so that's good. Our wakefulness is not as great, but Mikael can't waste time, so through his tired state, he is still going to try and get to Aspen's old den. So there's a Crevice Lake scent marker that is literally right next to us. So Mikael's gonna go cautiously check it out and see if he can't just take this. It is 90-something%, so I'm sure they're close by somewhere, and if we don't hurry, we're gonna have all of Crevice Lake coming after us. I think either those are coyotes or here they come. It's one of those. We will find out shortly. I think those may be coyotes, so we might be in luck, and we have taken this hex. Excellent. That was no small feat there, Mikael. So Mikael is now running in the direction of where he remembers Aspen's den being, but he is still in another wolf's territory, and he's very, very tired. He's getting nervous that he may not be able to reach one of his brother's last living places, but he's going to try. And Mikael has found it. Aspen's scent is probably long, long gone, but he has found it. And so he's gonna sit here and think of his brother, both of his brothers, and the memories they shared together. Mikael has mourned, and now he lays in front of the den that he knows Aspen stayed when he had his pups with his mate charm. And he thinks of all the good memories they had as pups into young adolescence and their closeness that they had. He is still grieving and he's very much hurt. Family has meant so much to Mikael, and now that he has lost both his brothers and he is no longer with his parents, he still mourns them. And he has his own family that he loves and cherishes, and he knows he needs to get back to them as soon as possible. But for now, it eases his heart to spend time in a place that he knew his brother once set paw steps on. And with that, we will go ahead and end this episode of Forged in Tragedy. I hope y'all liked it. If you did, give the like button a tickle and a poke. Subscribe to join our family if you haven't already, and jingle the bell to get notified of when I post WolfQuest. Also, feel free to click the follow me link down below to get all my socials, including Discord and Twitch. I love you guys. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week for more of Forged in Tragedy with Mikael. Bye!